So this right here is a credit card, and it can either be a very useful tool for you financially, or it can be something that kills you financially. So in today's video, we are going to be getting into two credit cards I own, but more specifically review on the Discover It student credit card, which I will have linked in the description below. I think I have 3 more slots open for people to actually use my referral link, where if you actually sign up and get the card, you and me both get $100 from that. And then I'll link the Capital One one as well, because that does the exact same thing as far as I'm concerned with the Capital One one. I'm not 100% sure, but as you guys see, we're currently in college. There's not going to be any fancy editing, really nothing special. I'm just going to talk to you guys about credit cards and everything about them, and why I think you should get the 2 cards I'm about to talk about. So let's talk about why you should get credit cards and kind of the stigma behind them. So why you should get a credit card is because if you use them the right way, credit cards can be very helpful in building your credit, which can allow you to get easily approved for loans down the road. If you want to get into real estate investing or buy your own home, buy a car, it can give you nice loans if you have good credit. And not only that, but credit cards themselves offer a ton of different rewards depending on the issue where you're going with. And you can kind of work your way up the ladder and get even better and better rewards. So there's multiple benefits with credit cards. However, the stigma is that so many people use these negatively. That's how credit card companies make so much money, is because people use these irresponsibly. They lose a lot of money, and ultimately it's just these things are just wealth killers for so many people. They get into so much debt with these because they don't care. They spend thousands of dollars on their credit cards and just let that accrue and just let interest just keep compounding their debt, and just their debt just keeps snowballing to the point where they can't even pay it off anymore. So that is what we don't want to do. We don't want to go and grab a credit card and spend it irresponsibly, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's not going to do us any good. That's going to actually, especially if you are someone watching this who wants to do better financially, that's going to completely steer you the wrong direction. So make sure that you are paying off your credit card on time if you're to get one, or if you already have one, make sure you're making the payment every single month and you're not letting that accrue and just have debt sitting there. You don't want to use this to get debt at all, guys. You want to use this as a tool, so keep that in mind. So with that in mind, what are some things that you can do before we get into the actual cards that I'm going to recommend to actually boost your credit score? So let's say you get a card. The first thing you want to do when getting your credit score up is just to make small payments every once in a while. This can literally be a $6 payment, a $10 payment. Maybe you spend it on a cup of coffee and then you pay that off at the end of the month if you want to be that safe. But if you really want to take advantage of like cash back, then using it for almost every purchase is something that you can do. However, keep in mind that you want to keep your credit utilization under 30%. What does this mean? Well, if I have a $1,000 credit limit, meaning that I can spend $1,000 with my credit card, that means I want to keep that below $300 because that's 30%. So I would use your credit card up to that 30% range. You really want to keep it around 20% at the max, but keep it in that range. Don't be very conservative where it's like 1%. But also don't go up to 40 or 50%, if that makes sense. You kind of want to be in the middle, because that's going to be the best for your credit score, because you're actually using the card responsibly. The next thing is, like I said, just pay off, keep it under 30%. And finally, this is going to just be to wait. Credit cards, it takes a long time to build up a good credit score, because your account, if it's very young, then that is going to actually impact your credit score pretty significantly. So you just need to build your accounts up, start early, and by you're 24, 25, you start at 18, it's going to be significantly higher than it was when you first got your credit card, because that's just how it works. There are other things that you need to keep in mind, but credit issuers will have these listed. Credit Karma does a good job of telling you things that you should avoid, things that you should be doing in order to boost your credit score. So definitely look into that. But now let's get into the first credit card that I'm going to be recommending, which is Discover It's Student Credit Card, which I have here. I referred this to my friend. Me and him both got $100 for free. And then I posted something on my Snapchat story and someone else did it. And we both got another $100. So, even if you just want to get this credit card to get the referrals, you can get up to 5 every year. It's fun to do, and it's actually crazy how you can just get free $100 like that. But what are the benefits of this card? Well, specifically if you're a student in college, or even if you are someone who's younger, I think though you have to be a student to use this card. This card offers 1% cash back on everything. So let's say I wanted to buy a $2,000 gaming PC with my debit card. Well, obviously it costs $2,000. Well, if I bought it with my credit card, that $2,000 gaming PC would, well, what's 1% of that? That's $20. Well, I got $20 back from that purchase. Now, with saying that, obviously, I think my credit utilization with this card is $1,500. That's obviously more than that, but that's just an example. Even $10, if I spend $10 with my debit card, then I've spent $10. I don't get anything back. But if I spend that $10 with my credit card, I get 1 penny back. And it seems small, but it definitely adds up. Like, I've got $8 already in cash back this month. Well, this is the end of the month, but I got $8 cash back, which is pretty cool to see. And then every quarter, Discover actually allows you to get 5% cash back on a certain theme. So this theme was like grocery stores, so like Walmart, Publix, whatever it is, you get 5% cash back spending your card there. And it just updates every quarter. So it's something that, let's say you spend $100 at Walmart, well, you get $5 back from that $100, which is pretty cool, especially if you're someone paying for your groceries. That can definitely add up in the long run. So the cash back is something that really makes this card worth it. There's no annual fee because you're just getting started. It's a pretty easy card to get, and like I said, it will be linked in the description below. But yes, if you're a student in college and looking to get a credit card, looking to build your credit score, and wanting to use this responsibly, definitely get this card, guys. It's pretty good for students, and it's the best that I have seen and have used. Now, moving on to a non-student credit card. This is still an unsecured card. This is the Capital One Platinum card. I think that's all that it goes with. I'll have this linked in the description below as well. And this card is a card that I would call a credit builder card. And let me explain why. The reason I call this a credit builder card is because this credit utilization, at least for me, is $500, which is pretty low compared to $1,500 with the student card. And besides that, this one also doesn't have annual fee, but it doesn't offer you any cash back at all. I think they have some if you go through a website. Certain websites like Dick's Sporting Goods, I think you might get cash back from that. But as of that, there's really no cash back offered with this card. So it's ultimately just a credit builder to have another line of credit, because having multiple lines of credit is going to boost your credit score. So having multiple credit cards is going to boost your credit score. You don't have to use these all the time. Like with this Capital One, I use it occasionally just to make sure it's active, just to make sure that this account is being used. And ultimately, it's a good card if you are wanting to get into credit and maybe aren't a student and wanting to take things slow and conservatively. Then pick out this card, guys. And I'm almost certain you also get $100, and I get $100 from it as well, but I honestly don't know. You can check that out in the link to the description, guys. But ultimately, if you guys use these right, you can work up to like the Amex Platinum, Amex Gold in the future, which is my goal. We can start earning around like $6,000 depending on how much we're spending, and get free flights. We can get free hotel rooms, a bunch of the different perks that come with these high tier credit cards because of people who actually use them responsibly. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Just like I said, a raw video. There's not going to be crazy editing because I'm filming this while working on 8 different college classes, guys. And yeah, that's going to be it for me.